Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready?
Get ready, dog.
This be the green light. Go. Tires burn the pavement.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Carolina Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken.
Baby, let's go. Let's go.
Ready, ready. 90 Wolf.
Are you going to get?
Get it.
The first carry now for Dalvin Cook. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. Give him 15 there, and the Panthers have a first down. Well, one unit I know you want to watch is that offensive line. If they keep clearing holes like that, it could be a long night defensively.
No doubt about it, because when they are in sync, as we're seeing so far, when that continuity is there and you can see that they're playing off of each other while controlling the defensive front linebackers, you're exactly right. It could be a very long night for the defense because someone's going to run for some big yardage.
On 1st and 10, Stanley. That's going to be caught by Samuel. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
One thing we do know, he's going to get his catches. So as they move forward defensively, got to continue to focus on not giving up the big play when he does catch the ball in the secondary.
2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down. 2nd and 5. This will be caught by Brown. And down he goes at the 49, a 3-yard pickup. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's third down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
Good defense holds him to only a yard, and it'll be 4th down. How about this for an opening drive decision? You got 4th and short, just outside of field goal range in all likelihood. What do you do?
I'm going for it. I've got to go get it right now. I want to establish a tone. It's early in the game. I want to let my offense know that I believe in them. And you know something else? I let my defense know I believe in them also by taking that gamble. If we don't get it, it's okay. You guys will cover for me.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. A little jet sweep to start the drive. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
From the 26, they'll line up on 2nd and 4. First carry for Christian McCaffrey. And that didn't fool anybody. He's going to be dropped in the backfield. That's a big loss of 3, and it brings up 3rd down.
Nice play right there to stop him behind the line, but I want to see how this defense continues to play him here in the first half.
Yeah, we know. You know better than I. He has the ability to take over a game, so what do?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure that you bottle him in at varying levels, because if you crowd everyone to the line of scrimmage, if he breaks through, it's nothing but room to run.
They get 14 there. First down, Vikings.
Nice catch right there. Brings to mind the sentence, when in doubt, find your veterans.
He used to laugh back in the day when they would call guys like him crafty veterans. You get up in your 30s, you're still playing receiver, but you're around that long at that position, you're doing something right.
Just remember this. When he was young, he thought the crafty veteran was simply a guy who couldn't run anymore. Now he understands a little bit better.
And they give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
It's now 2nd and 6 at the 41-yard line.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6.
You got nothing.
A handoff. McCaffrey running right. Looking for a cutback lane, but nothing there as he's met at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6.
It's 3rd down and 6.
On 3rd down, Cousins. And he's able to find Diggs. They get 14 there. 1st down, Vikings.
I don't believe that this opening drive is surprising to either one of us after the time we spent with the coaching staff and players prior to the game. What about you?
Absolutely. Not only that, but that big article in the paper this morning about their philosophy on starting games like you're shot out of a cannon, and that's what they've done. Very methodical here on this first drive.
Yeah, so many teams talk about that fast start. We're actually seeing it happen right here in front of us.
But now the kicker. Can they cap it off by putting the ball in the end zone? And now a throw on 1st down there, but it's incomplete.
That would have been a great catch, but it was real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Cousins, and that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down.
Used to have a coach used to tell us all the time, those scouting reports aren't just to use up paper, guys. Well, nowadays, we're watching a computer screen, right? They scouted this team very well. Know that they like to use the running backs in the passing game. They covered that play successfully.
Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. Here comes the 8th play of the drive, and they need a full 10 yards on 3rd down.
Switch it. Come on, switch it. Hey, can't.
Again, it's Cousins. Open man is Thielen. It's complete. And he's going to get this inside the 30. And they're going to have another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Panthers' 28. And forget about the run to set up the pass. They're just coming out throwing.
Forget trying to set anything up. They feel like they have the advantage. They feel like they have the matchups, and they're just attacking right now.
Yep, going to the air on the opening drive. On 1st down, this is McCaffrey. A minimal gain as we tick down inside of a minute remaining in the opening quarter.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
From the 25 on 2nd down, Cousins. They get him to the ground right on the cusp of the red zone after a pickup of 5 or 6. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6. Cousins on 3rd and 2. And that will be incomplete.
Intended for Kyle Rudolph. Incomplete. Results in a 4th down.
Now the Vikings will send out the special teams crew here for a field goal try. Right hash, 37-yard attempt. And his kick here is good. And the Vikings have a 3-0 lead. So the opening drive does yield points, maybe not the 7 they wanted, but they'll take the 3.
Accumulating 1st downs does not go up on the scoreboard, but it does go into the DNA of a team that's trying to establish itself to start a game. That has to feel pretty good for them. They'll take the 3.
Yeah, they had 3 first downs and 3 points. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully.
The Panthers take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
This will probably be the last play of the quarter.
Check it back.
Here's Cook as they begin on the ground. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line.
Hey, Orvin.
I'm coming.
Here's 2nd and 8. Thomas has got it, complete. 14 yards, good for a Panther first down.
The beauty of route running is it doesn't matter what position, everyone's doing the same thing. In this case, tight end, selling the vertical route. Get the defensive back on his heels, break off for the corner. With good timing, you get a completion, as we just saw there.
This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. To throw on 2nd down. Stanley going long here for Wallace. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 22. Defensively that time, they were in zone coverage. As a rookie QB, what lesson can you learn there?
Well, understand this. You saw zone in college, and the defensive backs reacted, but they don't react like they do on this level. So when they're in zone and they see the ball coming to them, they'll react at least a half a second faster. You've got to know where you want to go with the ball and be decisive with it. Otherwise, the end result can be something you don't like.
It's a gain of 11 as the Vikings pick up the first. He's trying to parlay that great performance last week, NFC Offensive Player of the Week in Week 2, into a great performance in Week 3.
And the way he was able to do it last week, he started off doing it again this week. Energy, the way he comes off the line of scrimmage, attacks the defense, sets them back on their heels, and he finds openings as a result.
No gain there on the completion, 2nd and 10.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly.
Jahan, what are these?
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Cousins. The Panther rush too strong. They get there and take him down. Leonard Floyd, the old Georgia Bulldog, finding his way into the backfield.
Now that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
So now after the sack, Cousins and the Vikings come up here 3rd and long.
Get that ball. Get that ball.
Gun.
Go. 58, right over there. Yeah. Mike.
Zebra.
It's a party now.
Wait, Jahan.
3rd and long for Cousins. Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more. Brian Burns providing a little deja vu, back-to-back sacks, and now they're staring at a 4th and long. And he was called on 3 times in the win last week as his first one here's away. It'll be a 51-yard punt that time. And the Panthers will take over now, 1st and 10. The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. And this is a unit that, to be frank, doesn't look like they've woken up yet. I mean, a punt and a turnover on their first 2 drives.
And I think the game's starting to take shape a little bit now. And I'm going to take it into the basketball world. When you're having trouble scoring or moving the ball in basketball, what do? Get it to their best player, right? Find a matchup, create it, exploit it, and try and move the football.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. They run. Cook. And he is down deep into Minnesota territory. A big play there out of Cook. 66 yards for him on the ground. Terrific run from one of the fastest backs in the game today. A guy who keeps defensive coordinators up at night, no doubt.
Remember when we were meeting with the D coordinator before the game and all he talked about was run fits, making sure our guys were in the right place so there were no creases?
They missed their fits, didn't they?
Yeah, there was no fit there. The only fit.
And it's intercepted at the goal line. Xavier Rhodes with a pick. A reminder coming up just a few minutes from now, we'll send you to Jonathan Coachman and our crew in Orlando. Coach will have a look back at some of the stats and scores from yesterday's action. And Rudolph has it, the tight end.
Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on first down, hitting the tight end there. Now it brings up a 2nd and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. Throwing is Cousins. That's complete to the receiver, Thielen. And he gets us to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. 22 yards there, a first down. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. From the gun, here's Cousins. It's hauled in by Dodson. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or 2 shy of the 30. 12 yards there, first down Vikings.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
Here's a pass swung out left to his running back. They'll get 4 there out of the screen, and it's 2nd down. Now the Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. Four yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Cousins again. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on, 3rd down.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you can go make a play on the football.
They got to get it to the 21 here on 3rd down. To the air again, it's Cousins. It's brought in by Dodson. And he will have the first before he's brought down right on the chalk of the 20. From the red zone now, Cousins. And Thielen's got it. Touchdown, Vikings. Adam Thielen, his first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. And that'll give them a 2-score lead here, but I'm looking ahead. They just want to hold it for the final moments here of the 2nd quarter. They don't want to give up anything on the other side.
No, not at all, because if they don't, it almost had the feel of an imposing their will score. And right now, they want to make sure they keep that and carry it into the 2nd half.
Let's go! The Panthers take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
Let's go now.
The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. You've got less than 30 seconds left here in the half. You're well on your own side of the field. What are we doing here, Coach Davis?
Well, I'm trying something on first down, and it's something that's safe. It's something that's been done many times before. A lot of people say it's not even worth trying, but I'm running a draw. I'm running a screen. I'm seeing if something pops, and if it does, that can alter my strategy and potentially get me some points. And if it doesn't work, well, then you just run the clock out and go to the locker room.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8.
Hey, lock it.
Check safety, check safety.
Go.
They'll keep it on the ground again here. And the defense obviously expecting run as well, as they're going to shut that one down at the line of scrimmage. So we have reached halftime with our score 10-0 as we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach. The Vikings have to like their position. They've got the lead. They get this football as well as we are back and underway for the second half. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They built a good first-half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. A quick throw to the left flat, and he's got it. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. It's a gain of 16, and the Vikings have the first down as well.
I like watching the wide receiver screen because it's a real teamwork play. Because guess what? The guy catching the ball, he'll get all the credit. But how about the people up to block in front of him, either fellow receivers or offensive linemen? That makes that play a really nice timing play, and sometimes it can break big.
And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. 36 yards on the play. Well, this is the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Runs like that might get him another award.
Yeah, thunderbolt right out of the gate, huh? How about that, hitting the defense hard early? And, of course, carrying the momentum from last week into this week's game.
So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. This is McCaffrey. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up 2nd down.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
From the 22, Cousins. And his throw here's incomplete. He was looking for his tight end there, Kyle Rudolph. But now it's 3rd down. How about the defensive effort from both of these teams that we've seen in this game?
Would you say it's like a high-stakes chess match right now?
Chess is one way to go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, the only reason I say that, you feel like they're contemplating their moves before actually making one. And none of them being done very confidently.
Truth be told, I've never played chess, and I know that I'm not smart enough. And Rudolph has got it. The big tight end for a Viking touchdown. Kyle Rudolph, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. Point after, right down the middle. And that makes our score 17-0. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away.
The Panthers take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. And their halftime hole now even deeper. And they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the second half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger, but no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing and try and get back to where you were to start the half.
Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's 2nd and a yard from the 34. 2nd and 1. That's complete to the Memphis man, Anthony Miller. Touchdown, Carolina! Anthony Miller, his first touchdown of the new season. And the Panthers, they're able to draw a bit closer. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They were able to extend their lead with an opening drive touchdown here in the 3rd quarter, but that just got matched a moment ago.
So we know that what they discussed at the half worked. Now, what are the counters to that, right? You don't just run the same things over and over. Some do, but many will also show something and then come back with something else to keep the defense off balance.
They're running it.
From the 29, Cousins. Looking for Thielen, but it's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Eric Kendricks. And they'll start with great field position at the 41-yard line.
Ready. 70, Indy. Score.
Let's go.
They'll run on 1st down. Vaughn. They'll fight forward for a couple down inside the 40.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. Looking to throw on 2nd down. Stanley. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. From the gun, Stanley. And the throw there going to be incomplete. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning, hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed, if there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces 4th down. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces him to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. This is what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here. The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time he was reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right. After an incomplete pass on 2nd down, that'll leave him trying to convert on 3rd and 9. Working out of the gun, Cousins. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Say hello to Eric Kendricks. He gets the sack there.
I think normally we would talk about this more with basketball players and football players, but let's adopt it in this case. He's a stat sheet stuffer.
Had the interception earlier, now a sack. But he just needs a touchdown for the trifecta.
That's about all he needs, and he's going to go for it.
A very nice job on the run back there. He'll get 23 yards all told. And this offense... will take over right at the midfield stripe with a 1st and 10. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 right at the 50-yard line. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And Thomas has it. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion that would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication, and as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
And he'll lose yardage here, back at the 47. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
An extra defender in the secondary for the Vikings here on 3rd down. Back to throw. Stanley. And for a 3rd time tonight, he's intercepted. Xavier Rhodes with a pick. He couldn't get the hook up there that time with Thomas.
The Vikings take over 1st and 10.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of 1st downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. It's the Vikings in possession of the football and the lead. They'll be looking to add to that total as we begin quarter number 4. The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8.
Let's get off the field, D. Let's get off the field, D.
To throw is Cousins. And this one hauled in by Rudolph. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. 23 yards the pickup there. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
A little bit of space there for the 1st down run, as that's going to get him about 5 yards. It was the linebacker Leonard Floyd on the stop. I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge. You know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play.
No, check that. We got Mike 52 right here.
3rd and short yardage. Cousins. He wants it all for the end zone. And that'll be incomplete. Well, they took their shot all right, but it comes up empty, and it's 4th down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. So his second field goal of the game, and that could turn out to be the big one.
Yeah, you have to make them score twice to beat you, and that's not impossible. But here in the 4th quarter, push their backs clearly against the wall.
Good work, boy. Let's go. Let's go.
Take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. And 3 interceptions in this game. And I would have to think, I wasn't a quarterback, but number 4's kind of, you're like, oh, man, I can't throw 4.
No, and what's interesting is, what do the coaches decide to do now? Having thrown 3, do you alter your offensive strategy? Do you take the ball out of his hands and maybe turn to the running game? Or do you have that supreme confidence that he's going to turn things around?
We'll see what they do. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10.
Fair. Get it.
On the ground, it's Cook. Give him 3 on 1st down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, this big defensive lineman will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Here's a 2nd and 7. He gets it to Thomas. And they get to him after a gain of 6 to the 46. Those short little routes probably going to be open. The defense, they'll let those happen, especially when they can make an inbounds tackle.
Yeah, where's Coach Madden when you need him? He always talked about taking what the defense gives you, but sometimes you have to know when you have to take more. That was one of those situations.
The Panthers on 3rd down, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. Operating from the gun, Stanley. And he finds Cook. And he's able to get this one down to the 40-yard line. And this is going to turn into another 1st down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 40. In a 2-score game, obviously, every play, every 3rd down, like we saw there, magnified, big pickup.
It was a huge pickup. What they really want, though, is to not even get to 3rd down. They've got to maximize time and conserve as much as possible.
Going long here for Wallace. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's 2nd down. Well, this secondary has done such a good job of frustrating these receivers tonight. Another example right there on the deep ball.
Sometimes when the sun goes down and it's just the bright lights in the stadium, there's a little extra spring in their step, doesn't it? And that's what we're seeing from the defenders. Doesn't matter whether it's man or zone, deep ball, short ball. That was a deep one there. They're making plays on the football, contesting everything.
Now, a deep ball there on 2nd down, but it'll wind up incomplete. He was trying to hit Thomas that time, and that'll make it 3rd down. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
3rd down, Dalvin Cook. And he can only manage to take this thing to the 38, well shy of the first down. Call it a gain of 3, and it'll bring up 4th down. Well, look at the clock. You're down 2 scores. Have to go for this, don't you?
And they thought that as soon as they took over possession. It didn't matter where they were on the field. They were always going to be in 4-down territory. Backed up, in good situation, it didn't matter. So they've been preparing for that on their play sheet the entire time.
That's fielded in the end zone. And he's going to be taken down shy of the 10 at the 9-yard line.
Anytime you field a kickoff inside your own end zone, you've got to be decisive about whether you're bringing it out or not. Sometimes that indecision can really cost you. That may have been what happened on that play.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And this game not quite over yet. And we'll likely see them take all 3 timeouts defensively, so they can't just kneel this one out. They're going to have to try to run a few plays.
You're exactly right. They've got to get a first down and make them use up all their timeouts in order to feel like they have this one in hand.
A tight game like this, such a tough spot for the offense to be in. Even though they have the lead, Charles, back up so close to their goal line, they got to protect the football.
And that's when you have to take care of your team with play calling as well. Not a lot of misdirection, not a lot of counter.
And the most curious way there to burn some clock. That was wild. And at the end of all that, it winds up a safety. All right, Charles, help me out here. 4th quarter, you've got the lead, and you run backwards into the end zone. You're just trying to do too much.
I almost don't have words for it. But, you know, every coach that we talk to talks about running backs or people running the football, running north-south, getting upfield. He went way in the opposite direction, and that's going to cost his team.
Yeah, it cost him big time. Still leading, but it costs him. The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted, and we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see. After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10. Cook following the penalty. And for one of the first times tonight, he's going to be held up at the line of scrimmage. Tackle made that time by Anthony Barr.
Partner, they're clearly saving those timeouts, but they still have to work with some urgency to put themselves in the right position.
Back to throw. His throw incomplete. The intended receiver there, Ian Thomas. And that takes us from 2nd to 3rd down. This defense has watched their lead dwindle away. This is where they really need to bow up. They executed well there.
And it's often hard after you've played really well early and then you kind of relax a little bit to step on the gas again. They just did it on the last play. Looks like they want to finish this one off.
Got his man there. It's Wallace complete. And he's going to be stopped here at the 43, and that is not near enough to pick up the first. The Panthers going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they get it with under a minute to go now in the football game. And down by 5, they've got to go for it here on 4th down.
Hey, Foxtrot, Foxtrot.
4-2, Mike 4-2. How you getting hit?
Big grip.
On 4th down, Stanley. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And no, it's incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And the Vikings defense is going to get the football back. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And this one all over but the shouting, you might say. Now, there's one timeout remaining defensively, but probably no real need to use it here.
Yeah, the only time they would use it, strictly for pride.
Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down.
It's now 2nd and 6.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6.
Let's get in there.
Victory formation time for the Vikings as they'll take a knee here.
A loss of a yard on the play. Brings up 3rd and 7.
So the final seconds have ticked away in this Minnesota victory. And it wasn't really always pretty. They had their bumps and bruises. Really, both sides did. But they did what they needed to do at home to get the win.
Yeah, they really had to grind this one out, didn't they? Because nothing came easy. Every snap was a major league brawl. They had to win at the line of scrimmage, win downfield. They got all those things accomplished. But to win a close one like this, you know, every team wants to be physical. We've heard that a million times, right? But those who are mentally tough, those are the teams that you have to deal with in the playoffs. This was that type of a game.
So for the Vikings, it's back-to-back victories now after the Week 1 defeat as they move to 2-1. And they will hit the road next week to take on the Detroit Lions. Meanwhile, for Carolina, the early struggles continue as they'll sink to 0-3. And they'll be on the road next week as they get a date with the Seahawks in Seattle. So for our entire crew, alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.